Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Know Thy Foe video. So today's video is the first of three covering the what I consider to be most broken lists that Chaos can produce. The first two in the series I have already played against. The third one I haven't played against yet, but hopefully I will have done in time to do a proper review, not just a theory review. So let's get into it. As you guys have probably noticed, Chaos has been receiving a lot of love from Games Workshop recently. Death Guard have had a codex out, Chaos Demons have had a codex out, and we've also got 1,000 Suns. With these codexes being released, we're starting to see the cracks appear in the Games Workshop veneer. And what I mean by that is Games Workshop originally said that 8th edition was going to be balanced and awesome. Now, whilst 8th edition for the most part is balanced and awesome, and even with the nerfs that I've hit Imperial Guard, which I begrudgingly accept have brought us down to a manageable level, there are other armies out there that are still incredibly powerful. And Chaos are, because of the variety of units they have available to them, it's very difficult for Games Workshop to police them. Very difficult for them to really monitor how powerful they are. And there's some truly broken options that are out there. What I'm going to cover today is an amalgamation of the Chaos Codex, the Death Guard Codex, and the Chaos Codex, Death Guard Codex, and Chaos Demons Codex. Okay, so the list is essentially taking advantage. The list that we're covering, essentially taking advantage of keywords and how they interact across different codexes, and it all hinges around, the whole list hinges around one particular unit, which are the newly released Nurgle trees. Their real name is Fetulant Gnarl. Okay, basically it's a tree that is very good at buffing Nurgle units. Okay, specifically Nurgle demon units, right? Now some of you might be saying, well, what's so bad about these trees? Well, they're 50 points each for one, and what they allow you to do is any Nurgle demon units that are within 7 inches can fall back and still shoot and charge as normal. And that's not too bad. And also, any Nurgle Demon infantry unit gets +2 to their save, basically. They count as being in cover +2. So they get +2 to their save. Now, some of you, again, are going to be thinking, this doesn't seem like such a big deal. And yeah, it's not when they're taken inside the Chaos Demon Codex, because what really is going to be affected by these Plague Bearers? Those guys can fall back and charge me as much as I want. That's not a big problem. They don't do a lot of damage, Plague Bears. They can be buffed to quite extreme levels, but I've faced 120 Plague Bears across the field and beaten it. It was 90 Plague Bearers in 1,500 points and 120 at 2,000 points. And I beat that list with my Steel Legion. And so, yeah, Plague Bearers, who cares, right? These trees aren't going to help them. Yeah, they're not a problem when taken inside the Chaos Demon Codex. They become a problem when taken alongside the Death Guard and Chaos Space Marine Codex. Because in the Death Guard Codex, there's a unit called the Plagueburst Crawler. And it's a tank. But it's also a Nurgle Demon. You see, it has the Nurgle Demon keyword. And essentially what that means is that tank is able to benefit from the Nurgle trees, the Flatulent Gnarls. So what you have here is a tank, and what does this tank comes with 2 flamers, the equivalent of a 4-shot heavy bolter, and a mortar, a Plagueburst mortar. These Plagueburst crawlers are better than Lehman Russes. Okay, They're toughness 8, they've got 12 wounds, they've got a 3+ save, they've got a 5+ feel no pain. They come with 2 strength 7 heavy flamers, and they come with a heavy bolter which gets 4 shots instead of 3, and they come with the Plagueburst mortar, which is essentially a battle cannon. Now admittedly it can't fire twice, okay? Admittedly it can't fire twice, but that's its only disadvantage. So it's tougher with more firepower than Liam Russ. And it's it's got a 5-up invuln save as well, because it's a demon. You see, it's definitely a demon, and it's definitely Nurgle, so it definitely gets affected by the Nalmor, the Nurgle tree. So basically what you have here is a tank that can run around all over the place, flaming people with strength 7 flamers, until it's reduced to like 2 wounds, and then it's only strength 5. So even if you get to its last bracket, it's still a regular heavy flamer. But anyway, the point is you've got a tank here which can zip all over the place, flaming things, and if you try to lock it up in close combat, if you manage to survive the Overwatch, then guess what, buddy? It's just going to fall back and shoot you. Because you can take 2 of these Nurgle trees in a detachment, because guess what? They are fortifications. They are not a unit. They are fortifications. They are an Aegis defense line. You can't destroy an Aegis defense line. You can't destroy these trees. That's right. That's what makes these things broken. You can't destroy the trees. There's nothing you can do. If you try and get close to them, they do mortal wounds to you on like a 4+. That's not great. So this is a permanent buff, which you pretty much can't get rid of, and the opponent can take 2 of them. And if he overlaps them properly, he's got an absolutely filthy range that he can buff his units with, these things. But that's not the end of it. That is not the end of it, because guess what? That was why they're broken when you use it with the Death Guard Codex. But what about the regular Chaos Space Marine Codex? What about Obliterators? Obliterators are infantry. Obliterators are demons. Obliterators can be given the mark of Nurgle, which makes them Nurgle demons. That's right. So what you have there is Obliterators, which have +2 to their save, which means they are 0+ save models, which means even if you hit them with a las cannon, they get a 3+ save. Also, guess what? You can make those Obliterators. So not only are they really, really tough, but even if you hit them with, you can make them Alpha Legion as well. So they're -1 to hit. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So the list that I was talking about, one of the most filthy lists that I've come across, and it is super powerful. I've seen this list go 2 for 2 against Eldar, and it barely got scratched. Okay, and this is Eldar with Reapers. All right. The opponent, the guy, and I faced his list. I faced it in person. Before you think I'm just spouting, theorycraft here, and it is nasty. I couldn't do anything to it. I killed like 2 of the plague crawlers, and managed to get the majority of the Obliterators, but that was it, and I lost everything. The list in question is 2 units, 2 of these trees, 4 units of Obliterators, 6 of these Plagueburst crawlers, 2 or 3 Chaos Lords, and then a smattering of Nurglings to make up troop choices, I imagine. So there you go, 6 Plagueburst crawlers. I mean, it's absolutely insane. 6 Plagueburst crawlers, 12 Obliterators, and a smattering of Nurglings. And the best thing is that you can't tie these guys up. Because a lot of you will be thinking that, well, he hasn't got a screen. He hasn't got any screening units. You just tie him up, and then he can't do anything. You're forgetting these trees allow any Nurgle demon unit, which its entire army is technically Nurgle demons, to fall back and still shoot and still charge. How crazy is that? So, Do I have answers to beat this list? No, I haven't played it enough yet. I've played against it once. Is it unbeatable? No. My experience when I faced it, I had 120 infantry and 4 Leman Russes. Okay. What my opponent did was he deep. Oh, by the way, you can deep strike the trees. Should say the trees can be deep struck. What my opponent did is he deep struck all his obliterators forward, deep struck the trees around them, and then moved the 6 Plagueburst crawlers up. Okay. The way it's difficult to beat this list, but there are ways. You have to essentially kill. The mistake I made was thinking that the Plagueburst crawlers were the main threat. They're not. The main threat is the obliterators. Okay? They're the ones that are going to do the real damage, because they're the ones that will be rerolling ones to hit from the Chaos Lords, and he can put Veterans of the Long War on them, so he can, the majority of the time, if he's lucky, he'll be wounding Leman Russes on 2s or 3s. Okay? Once the Leman Russes are down, it's really difficult for the remaining infantry to get through this list. Okay? So, it is really difficult. So, how you have to do it is one of 2 ways. Okay? Either accept the fact that he's just going to cut through, because I lost 3 Leman Russes in 1 turn, I want to add. But the one I had left over was a tank commander, and he did really, really well. He wiped out a unit of obliterators on his own, which is fantastic. But then he obviously just died the next turn. My recommendation would be is assuming that you're going to lose 3 to 4 vehicles, might be best to just strip down all the upgrades off your Leman Russes and just run them as bare bones tanks. You basically want to be running 5 to 6 armoured vehicles. Maybe instead of taking Leman Russes, you would take artillery. Yes, the artillery is easier to kill, but these obliterators aren't going to struggle to kill your tanks anyway. So you might as well accept that you're going to lose 3 armoured vehicles in a turn, and make sure you've still got 3 or 4 left over that can do some serious damage. 3 or 4 basilisks would do a serious amount of damage. I mean, my 4 Leman Russes and the configuration I had them in was taking up about 750 points-ish. I'll try and work out exactly for you guys now. I think. Yeah, so 765 points. Now, for the same price, you could get like 7 basilisks, for example. You could get 7 basilisks. Now, assuming you lose 3 of those basilisks, you're then able to bomb the crap out of the remaining ones with your artillery pieces, because you could use Vengeance for Cadia on 1 to make it reroll hits and wounds, and you could use Aerial Spotters on another to make it reroll hits, because hitting is going to be the difficulty against the Alpha Legion, or against the Obliterators in general. So there you go. So lots of armor, and you want Scions as well. You need a screen of you need a relative screen of infantry. You need 100 infantry. Keep it cheap. 100 infantry, 400 points. You then want to get Scions. Okay, you need that ability to deliver a crippling strike. What I noticed is this army alpha struck me and did incredible damage, but even with the moderate amount of damage I was able to inflict back, its damage output fell. It did. It fell noticeably. Not a lot, but noticeably. And that was for me killing 2 out of 6 Plagueburst crawlers and 2 to 3 of the... I think it was... by the end of it, I'd killed 3 of the Obliterator squads, but 2. That was... So if you can survive that... And that was with a very badly damaged army. That was with basically 120 bloody infantry trying to do something. So if you were able to hit back this army really hard, I think that's the way you do it. I think Scions with Plasma, that's what you want to do. My recommendation would be to take 2 or 3 detachments. At least 2. You want to take lots of infantry and basilisks, or artillery in general, in 1 detachment, and then you want your second detachment to be Militarum Tempestus. And you want to cram as many plasma-wielding Scions into that as you can get. Yes, I know Scions paying 13 points per plasma gun. Doesn't matter, it's worth it. Okay, you then deep strike in within half range of the plasma guns. You, with all your Scions, you make sure you've got enough orders so all of them, one way or another. I mean, I'm talking as many. I'm talking like 8 Scion squads, and a mixture of 8 Scion and Tempestus command squads with as much plasma as you get your hands on, with officers backing them up. And you make sure that you're all in rapid fire range, because if you're within half range and you've taken them in their own detachment, then any 6s will give you an extra shot, and that's what you want. For those of you that don't know, the Stormtrooper doctrine for the Militarum Tempestus, if you are within half range and you roll a 6 to hit, you get another shot. That is essential, because you're going to need every shot you can get. You're going to be overcharging, because you need to overcharge to be able to wound on 4s and do 2 damage. Okay, you're going to need enough officers to make them reroll 1s to hit, so you don't kill yourself. All right. If you could do that, the reason the Scions are really important are that they are your counterpunch that the enemy can't kill. Okay, the problem that I had with my army that I used was the enemy was able to kill my counterpunchers, my Leman Russes. I thought he'd go after the infantry. Most people go after the swarms of infantry, but he didn't. He went after the tanks. And that meant that when the dust settled, I didn't have a counter-attack, basically. So yeah, that's how I would beat this list. But that's the list you need to be on the lookout for. It massively takes advantage and takes real liberty with the Nurgle demon keyword. But it is, as far as I can tell, legitimate. That every unit has the Nurgle keyword. Every unit has the demon keyword. That, as far as I am aware, makes this army legit. I think they all have the Nurgle demon keyword. Does that make sense? So it's a really powerful army. You can't tie it up in combat. You've got to outshoot it. Okay. The one weakness it has is it has very little OBSEC. Okay. So I would really like to get your guys' perspective on this. Is this army legit? Is it legal? I think it is. The opponent I play against, he's not the kind of guy, the guy I was playing out of the club, he's a very good player. He specialises in breaking 40k. I want you guys to understand, he's not a bad guy. I really got on with him. He's a proper sound chap. He's really good. But he's a really, really good 40k player, and he's really good at breaking the game. I mean, he was one of the original, and this is not a boast. The guy I'm playing against he moves in certain circles, shall we say. He was one of the original people to use Storm Raven plus Guilliman spam. But before most people had opened up their copies of 8th edition, he already had that list sorted out. He'd worked it out, had it on the table, and knew what it was going to do. He knows the game well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please leave lots of comments about what you would do against this army. And do you think that my way of beating it would work? Okay. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Praise the Emperor. And I'll see you guys next time.